keep that. Now remember, you don't aim a gun at a man unless you intend to shoot him. And you don't shoot a man unless you intend to kill him. No warning shots. Hey, you listening to me?
Yeah.
No warning shots. Warning shots are bullshit. You shoot to kill, or you don't shoot at all.
Yay! Christmas is over. We all survived. Everything kind of worked. Shopping, the abandonment of the shopping task. I don't know, I think it went okay. Never feel like it. The worst part about being an adult is Christmas. Because you gotta do all the footwork. I know I probably covered a lot of this last episode with Black Christmas, but it sucks. It's not fun. Especially because you're an adult. You know, if you want stuff, you just go get it. You don't sit around, like, you don't find something in February and think, man, I can't wait until 10 months when I can ask for that. Maybe I'll get it. Open my present, somebody will note it. I don't know, you know, Christmas is for kids. It's fun if you're a kid. You don't have to do any work. You just sit and wait and judge. You open your present, you're like, what is this? Socks. Yeah, it's for socks. It's for toys, specific toys. But I think that's why, that's a flip-flop. When you're a kid, Christmas is cool, and New Year's is like, you know, when you're a kid, New Year's is like a reminder that, Christmas break's almost over, I gotta go back to school. This sucks. Man, where'd the last 2 weeks go? Vacations when you're in school and you're 8 are just not long enough. But when you're an adult and you get done with the stress and, you know, the heart attack you almost have trying to get presents together and trying to make sure you can afford to buy enough stuff to make people happy and whatever, you know, that's when it's not even so much affording it, it's just like people, it's like if you don't ask for, it's like, I think some people think that it's like being wishy-washy about a Christmas list is kind of being nice, or they, oh, don't get me anything, don't get me anything. But it's kind of a dick move. It's like, come on, I have to get you something, so just tell me what you want. And don't play some weird game where it's like, I'm just seeing how well you know me. It's like, just tell me what you want, then I can go get it. I give you a list. Here's 5 things I want. You only got to buy 4 of them. But don't give me this, well, I don't care. You don't have to give me anything. It's like, yes, I do. I'm just going to open presents in front of you. Just, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Keep watching. It's like, what are you going to do when I'm opening presents and you're not? So, it is kind of like Christmas when you're adult sucks. And when you're a kid, it's awesome. But New Year's when you're a kid sucks. Because it's a reminder you're going back to school. But New Year's when you're an adult is awesome because then you get to blow off all that steam. You get to go out. You go out and get drunk and like that heart attack you thought you were going to have from all the stress of like trying to make everything happen and work the extra hours and trying to make everybody happy, and there's people you forgot, and the last minute you found out, oh, you're gonna give me some fuck. When did we start getting each other stuff? Now I don't know, I always feel like a dick if somebody gets me something and I don't get them something. It's like, I didn't know we did that. I mean, at the same time, I am kind of the way where I've done that with like my mom. I'm like, normally I don't buy you Christmas presents, but this year I saw something that you would want, so it's like, no, it's kind of an occasion where it's like it's a Christmas gift and it's something that you want. So, I don't know. My daughter was happy, so that was cool. It's funny because she isn't that into Barbies yet, but she asked for a couple, and she asked for this like Dr. Barbie. And it's funny because the new Barbies, they have new body sizes because they're trying to like not, because Barbie's like a body shamer. It's like, everybody should look like me. Everybody should, you know, be, you know, their waist should be this big, and their butt should be this big, and their legs should be this long, and their boobs should be, you know, a cup, and everything should be functional. And eventually they come through the toy line and they're like, well, that's not fair. That's body shaming. It's like, I don't know if it's body shaming. It's like, I think what really happened was the company, Mattel, is that who makes Barbie? They figured out a body size that works. Like, here's a woman, and it was cheaper to use the same mold over and over and over again. I mean, it's not like they had, this is Barbie, and this is Shelly, and this is, you know, like a different, it's all Barbie. It's that this Barbie, you can curl her hair. This one, you can cut her hair. This one, she's a mermaid. This one, it's all the same chick. Different, it's like they're not really body shaming. It's like one chick, and she can do everything. But now they're coming in different body sizes, which is cool. You know, some of them are shorter, some of them are tall and thin with not much shape, some are short. But the doctor one that my daughter wanted, and she didn't care about body size. She was just like, I want that one. And I noticed on that one, it's like, wow, that Dr. Barbie, who doesn't come with a name, she's got some hips on her. I mean, that Dr. Barbie's got a fat little ass on her. Like, that Barbie's hot. And then she just wanted a dude. So I got her big booty Dr. Barbie, and like just a regular guy, because I couldn't find the black Ken doll that went with big booty Barbie. So I was like, oh, she'll have to deal with this white boy. So tonight's movie is the classic 1979 Phantasm, which I know I'm probably at some point going to screw this up and say Phantomus, because there's a band called Phantomus that I like, led by Mike Patton. And I've said Phantomus many times in my life than I've said Phantasm, although I do like this movie. So, this movie, it opens up with, there's this dude having sex in a graveyard with a girl. And she, at one point, pulls out a dagger and stabs him with it. She's on top. If you're on top, you can stab people. She stabs him with it, and as he's dying, she changes from like being a beautiful woman to like the tall man. Do I have to explain? There's a picture. The tall man. He's a legendary horror villain. And it's kind of weird because like it's like what's going on here? It's like the tall man. She was a girl, then she turned into the tall man. Now I'm gonna die. It's like I'm gonna die. It's like, did I just fuck a dude? That's the last thoughts going through the guy's head. Why is the villain running around pretending to be a girl so he can fuck dudes and then he can kill them? Like it works, I guess. Like that's how you lure guys in. It's like, hey, come over here, you can have some sex. It worked for what's her name? Eileen, that serial killer lady. That was played by the South African lady. So anyway, that's the opening scene, and then it gets to the next scene where we meet the rest of the cast. And the rest of the cast is played by the cast of the original Star Wars, A New Hope. You got Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, the Jawas, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Darth Vader, and Princess Leia. They're pretty much the same people, but they have different names. So Jodie and Reggie Bannister, which is funny because I was always thinking that Reggie Bannister was like the character name, because it sounds like a made-up name. It sounds like, what should we name this guy? How about Reggie? Reggie what? Bannister. Reggie Bannister. Because it's a funny name to be like, oh, call Reggie Bannister, see what he's doing. But it turns out that's the name of the actor. His name is Reggie Bannister. It's like, that sounds like a made-up B horror movie. I was like, nope, that's my real name. But his name in the movie is just Reggie. In real life, they call him Reggie Bannister, Mr. Bannister. So, the guy that got killed in the graveyard while having sex, that's Tommy. He's friends with Reggie and Jodie. So it opens with Jodie and Reggie are getting ready to go to his funeral. Jodie has a little brother named Mike, who has told cannot go to the funeral. He doesn't want him to go because their parents died not too long ago, and his brother was kind of, you know, I mean, obviously bummed out about that because there's a huge age difference between Jody and Mike. Like Jody's like 25 and Mike's like 15, so he's like, and Jody kind of takes care of Mike since the parents died. So he's like, I don't want you to go. You know, it's too much death at your age. You can't deal with it. I want you to be a normal kid. This is not so normal town. But Mike sneaks along anyway on his moped, that sneaky guy, or his motorcycle. I don't know what it is, dirt bike. It's loud, and he's sneaking around in it, but he's spying. And then after the funeral's over and everything, and it goes out of his way to show the pallbearers, you know, like 6 guys carrying the coffin to the grave, or not to the grave, I don't know, to wherever. They're at Morningside Morgue. And then when they're all gone, Mike's still watching, and Tall Man shows up. Same Tall Man that pretends to be a woman so he can fuck dudes and kill them. Tall Man comes walking out and just by himself picks up the casket and puts it in the back of a hearse. Then he goes and dries off, and Mike's like, well, that's weird. Okay, dude just picked up a casket. It's also funny because Reggie's an ice cream man. He drives an ice cream truck around. Doesn't look like your normal ice cream truck, but he wears a white suit the whole movie and like a leather vest, because he's also like him and Jody. They both play guitar, and Tommy was like their drummer. They were a 3-piece band. Oh, and everybody thinks that Tommy killed himself because they have no idea about the girl that he met. But then later, soon, while grieving, Jody goes to the bar and he runs into a girl, and it just happens to be the same girl. So he buys her a drink, and she's like, all right. And he slides a drink to her. He takes like 1 sip, and she's like, let's go. And the fire guy, like, bitch, I just spent money on drinks. Like, I want to go, but can we, or hey, bartender, can I get my money back? So he goes with her. She takes him to the cemetery, same cemetery, I'm assuming. And they start getting it on. And little brother Mike, never far behind. Little Mike is always following big brother Jody around. To the point where it's almost kind of like, I don't know, it's like, dude, your brother's about to have sex in the graveyard with this chick. Maybe you should go do something else for a while, but he's just kind of like, ugh. But then he sees the JAWA, or one of the JAWAs.
What the heck? Wait here, it's my little brother. I think he's got some kind of a problem.
So being the good older brother that Jody is, he goes after Mike, not realizing that that's going to save his life. That decision to go after his little brother, figure out what's going on, costs him from being fucked and killed by a dude. Here's my car keys. Car's at the bar. Go home. I'll meet you there. So Jody goes back. Girl's gone. Bullet dodge. He doesn't know that, but it was. Mike knows something's going on, but he doesn't know how to tell anybody. It's like he's told him about the tall man, and everybody's kind of like, whatever. And so he's just like, I don't know what to do. So he sneaks out of the house. He's armed. He's got like his knife on him. He sneaks over to the Morningside morgue and breaks a window, goes inside, takes a look around. Doesn't really see anything out of the ordinary. And then when he gets out in the hallway and he gets grabbed by this dude, and the guy's like the caretaker, and he's like trying to get free. He's like, what the? And the guy's like, come here. And then all of a sudden we see for the first time the Phantasm sphere. It sticks the guy in the forehead. Well, like in the middle of his face, and it drills in and starts like squirting blood out the other end, and basically just sucks all the blood out of him. And Mike's like, oh, okay. So Mike makes a run for it. He goes back. He tries to go back the way he came, but the tall man shows up. He's like, oh. And there's something really creepy. It's creepy enough when you have like Freddy or Jason. They're just kind of like, they kind of stalk you. And they walk. And like, no matter how fast you're running, you look back. And they're still, you know, the same distance behind you. Like, you can't run. But Mike starts running, and tall man starts like running after him. There's something creepy about that. It seems like it'd be like, what's he running after him? But at the same time, it's like, oh, this guy's running. It's like, that's kind of scary. Get out of there. So Mike runs out of there. He loses him. He gets out of the door, and he closes it on the tall man, and he locks it. But the tall man like had his hand in it, so it chops off his fingers, and his fingers just like drop to the ground, but they're still moving. They got these little fingers that are just like, I think they might have been making noise too. So they're just like, and they're secreting like this, like, not even like mustard yellow. It's more like custard. It's more like if you watch this movie while you're eating a custard donut, like a custard filled donut, you will not finish that donut. And so he takes one of the fingers and puts it in like his pocket or something. I forget. And he takes it and he goes out the window that he came, and he goes home, and he's got the finger. So he gets home, and he puts it in this little wooden box that he's got, and you can hear it like tapping around and stuff. He's like, and his brother, he like tells his brother about it, and his brother's like, what? I don't believe that. So then he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and I'll show you. So he goes upstairs to get the box, and for some reason he like hears like a louder sound. Maybe it wasn't making noise before, and now it is. So it's like, well, now it's making noise. I'm gonna open it up. Instead of waiting till I show my brother, I'm gonna open up here just to make, I don't know why he opened it up. It made no sense. So he opens it up, and it's like this flying thing. It flies out, and he's like, what the? And he loses it, but then it's like on his head, like creeping down, and he's like, and he can't feel it, even though it's like the size of a tarantula. It's like a tarantula with wings crawling down his head. He's like, and then he gets it, and he like wraps it up in his jean jacket and starts eating through it, and he's like, runs down the stairs. He's like, Jody! And Jody's like, what the fuck? And Jody looks at them, and there's like, they grab the jacket together, and like he puts his arms on Mike, because he's older and way stronger, so it's like he should be able to grab Jody and control him, but instead he's like, they're both like, and so Jody's like, garbage disposal, and he sticks the jacket into the garbage disposal, and they kill what used to be the finger. And so, good news. Now I'm a believer. Now I'm a believer. Now I'm a believer. Jody decides he's gonna go down there. I don't know if he's planning to go down there by himself. He definitely was not planning to go there with Mike, though. He was like, Mike, you're not going with me. He takes Mike over to the granddaughters of the old lady that Mike visited earlier in the movie, which I did not mention. And he's like, he's got to stay here with you guys. I got to go do some stuff. But then Jody like just goes back home and like stares at things. He's just like staring at the wall. And he has like these weird visions of like being at the morgue that he was planning to go to, but he never actually went. He's just kind of like staring. And so after a while, Mike is sitting with the girls, and he's like, I got to get out of here. You guys got to take me back home. And they're like, okay. So it's kind of like, wait, he has orders to not let him go anywhere. And as soon as he's like, I have to go home, you're like, all right. It's like, there's some serious arm twisting. So they start to take him home, and they see Reggie's ice cream truck on his side. They're like, oh. And even the girls, because he's the local ice cream man, they're like, is that Reggie? Is he okay? But before they can do anything about it, was it the tall man or was it Jawas? I don't know, but they take over the car and they bust Mike. Mike flies out the back window and the car takes off with the girls. And Mike's just like laying there. He's like, and then once the car's completely gone, he gets up, almost like he's faking it. He gets up and he's like, just starts running home. And he gets home and he's like, Jody! And Jody's there, staring at the wall. It's like, oh, hey. And it's weird because, like, Jody had a plan, like, I'm gonna go do this. I don't want you to go, so I'm gonna make sure you don't go by putting you with these people. Those people are gonna stop you from going. And so it seems like Jody would have some kind of like angry reaction to Mike just coming in and being like, hey, I'm back. I'm not with those people that you left me with because you didn't want me to go along. Instead, Jody's like, oh, hey, and gives him a big hug. And he's like, hey, how's it going? He's like, oh, well, we just ran into this and this happened. So I think they got Reggie. He's like, so Jody's like, they got Reggie and they got the girls? Well, this sucks. I'm going to go take care of it. And Mike's like, all right, let's go get him. And once again, Jody's like, you're not going. You're going to your room. He's like, I'm going with you. And then Mike starts cussing, which sounds kind of ridiculous because he's like 15. And he's like, damn it, I'm going too. I'm going to go, damn, put me. And so Jody like physically carries him up to his room, puts him in. And like, even like, I don't know how he knew how to do this, but he like takes a screwdriver to the door, like after he closes it. And he like just goes, so it's wedged shut. And Mike's like, open the damn door, let me out, I'm gonna go help. And then Jody like goes back down the stairs. So Mike's sitting in his room and he's like, man, I'm stuck in here. So Mike's sitting at his desk. There's a hammer on his desk and he feels in his pocket. He's like, he's got a shotgun shell. And he's kind of looking at it like, And he finds a thumbtack and some scotch tape and like tapes it to the hammer, and he goes up to the door, like right next to the doorknob, and just goes, and he hits the door and just goes, and just blows it up, a perfect size hole that you can reach your hand in, grab the screwdriver back out, and then open the door. And now he's on his way. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go help my brother. So I'm pretty sure, because this is 79. I think when he got a little older, I think he is MacGyver. You know, he give him a piece of tape, thumbtack, shotgun shell, hammer, he can bust his way out. Although it's also funny because like, it's just like a bedroom door. Like you could have just taken like if you didn't care about doing damage to the door, you could have just taken the hammer and like hit it twice in that same spot and had the same result. You didn't have to get all crafty about it, which is one of the weird things I'll cover later about Mike and why he's so, I don't know, like why he's 15, he can drive a car and he drinks beer and he can shoot a gun and all that stuff. So he heads out the door, he runs down, he's gonna go catch up with his brother, help save Reggie and the girls. Once he busts the door open, it pans down to the garage and his brother's just leaving. Like, in the time it took him to figure out how to make a hammer bomb, it's the same amount of time it took his brother. Like, it's like, where's your motivation, brother? Same amount of time it took his brother to walk all the way downstairs, open the garage door, shut the garage door, put the keys in the ignition, open the main garage door, and pull out. Because at that point, Mike is back downstairs. He opens the door, but instead of running after his brother, Jody, tall man is standing there. He's like, I've been waiting for you. Which is like, why are you waiting for me? And he grabs him and he throws him in the back of his hearse and starts driving him. And then I'm assuming he was going to drive him back to the morgue. But we don't find out because they're going and Mike has a gun on him. Because before he was leaving the house, he grabbed a gun. He couldn't shoot Tall Man at the doorstep because Tall Man was like so unexpected. He was just like, ah. So he's in the back of it. So he shoots out the back window. And then he's smart enough. Mike does everything right. For a 15-year-old kid, it's like Mike is like on it. He's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. But then he's like, he aims like to the flooring of like where the back tire would be. and he shoots it so it goes through, probably through the metal, which might not have been a good idea, but it goes through and it flattens the tire, so the hearse kind of loses control. And then Mike's like, he already shot the window. So he was smart enough he shot the window out first, then he shot through and shot the tire so it would lose control a little bit, slowing it down enough that he could jump out the window and not get too hurt. And then like the hearse like rolls gingerly like another 25 to 30 feet into a telephone pole and just completely fucking blows up. And he's like, all right, killed the doll man. So he's like, I gotta go find my brother. So then he goes the rest of the way to the Morningside morgue and breaks back in. Doesn't see his brother right away. So he's walking around and he gets into a hallway and there's another silver ball, and the silver ball's after him. And he's like, oh shit, I know what that does, because he saw what it did to the caretaker. So he's like, oh, and he's getting ready to leave, and his brother comes from around the corner. Mike ducks, and Jody's got his shotgun. Perfect shot. He just shoots it, and it blows up. And then Jody looks at Mike. Once again, it's like, I didn't want you to go with me, so I left you with those girls. And you came home anyway. I didn't want you to come with me, so I locked you in your room. And now here you are. Instead of getting mad, he's just like, oh, Mike, it's so good to see you. And just like hugs him. And then they kind of walk out together. It's like, yeah, like they planned it all along. And then they're having a moment, and then we have this weird like kind of jump scare where it's like, oh, and it's fucking Reggie. Reggie's like, hey, how's it going? Whoa. It's like, he's like glad to see them, but not really that surprised to see them. And it's like, and they're not that surprised to see him either. They're like, oh, Reggie, how's it going? Because like they knew his ice cream truck had been flipped. They knew that he'd been kidnapped. They didn't know what condition he was in though. So it's like for him to, it's like he's fine. Like he's, like I mentioned earlier, his white suit, not a scuff on it. He's bright white, just, oh, hey. Like he looks like he just walked, like he drove there intentionally. It's like, hey, somebody order some ice cream? They're like, oh, Reggie, good to see you. Like, let's get out of here. And they find this door. Because they had seen like one of the dwarves, like they like captured. I forget exactly when this happens, because this movie is weird, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But they had found, oh, it was when one of the dwarves like attacked into a car and like they caught him, but they saw it was Tommy's face. Like the dwarves are like actual people, but they're shrunk down to like half their size. That's why Reggie, when they see him, they're like, Reggie, how are you doing? He's like, well, I'm not 3.5 feet tall. He's like saying like, so they go and they find this door and they're like, okay, let's get out of here. But Mike's like, there's that door over there. We got to find out what's behind it. Which is really weird because they didn't have to do like a bunch of weird, like Resident Evil, like put the silver hawk into that, find the silver hawk and bring it back and twist it. They just kind of like, all right, and they just opened it. And they go in and there's all these like, I don't know, like the size of like kegs, but they're black. And then there's these two steel poles, and they're like, what is this room? And like Mike gets really close to the poles and he like kind of leans in and he gets sucked in, and he sees like this weird, like he sees all these Jawas pulling these black kegs like towards like if the planet had an edge, like if Christopher Columbus was wrong, like if it just dropped out, but they're just pulling it towards redness, and he's like, but he's like falling, and he's like, but it's like he can see everything perfect, even though he's falling, and he's freaked out, but he's like, and then like a hand grabs him, and Jody pulls him, and he pulls him back into the room. He's like, wow, you're right there. And he's like got like steam and shit coming off of him, which to me, when I was watching, I was like, was it really cold there? But it was actually like smoke, because it's really hot there. So they're like, well, what's going on? And all of a sudden, just from that little thing, Mike's like, they're small. They've been shrunken because of gravity, and they're taking these back to their planet. They're aliens, and they steal corpses to take back to their planet. They never really explained why they're taking them back to the planet. But apparently Tall Man's this dude, intergalactic dude that goes to planets and steals, well, rewind. dude who clones himself, disguises himself as a woman and fucks dudes, kills them so he can take them back to their planet. Like, if his headmasters knew what he was doing, they'd be like, dude, come on. So, but from that little glimpse, Mike's like, yeah, and they're doing that, and it's the gravity, and that's why Tommy was small, and that's why they got to shrink him down, which is kind of weird. It wasn't like a big explanation, but suddenly it seemed like Mike knew everything that was up, but at the same time, the viewer's kind of like, I guess. So they leave, and on the way out, Mike runs into the girl. You know the girl. The girl who's actually the tall man. And he runs in, but she looks injured. She's laying down, and he's trying to help. He's like, hey, are you okay? Can I do anything? So he didn't actually start having sex with her. She just reaches out and just sticks the dagger into Mike. Or not Mike, but Reggie. And Reggie's like, oh. And dies. So he has spent a good hour and 15 minutes at least keeping this suit pristine white, and then one gut stab and the whole thing's over. But then he dies, so it doesn't matter anyway. And so Mike and Jody escape together, and they're going to the car, and they're like, what about Reggie? But they look over and they can see, it's like, oh, well, yeah, forget it, Reggie's dead. Let's just get out of here. And like they separate, because Jody's like, I have an idea. I'm gonna go up to the mine shaft because it's a long drop. I'm gonna take the signs off of it. That way, he won't know it's there. I need you to lure him up there, and then he'll drop down there, and he'll drop right to hell. We never have to deal with him again. And Mike's like, all right, sounds like a plan. So Mike or Jody goes to the mine shaft and does his part. Tall man comes back, chases Jody. Jody takes him right to where the mine shaft is, and they even do a little like where like Jody had shittily hid the sign. It was like elsewhere, but the bushes draping down on it was like you could still read it. It just wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was like, oh, that's your idea. He like put a branch on it. It's like, okay, that's it. All right. So he goes and he runs and he jumps over the mine shaft because it's not a big hole. It's just very deep. And he jumps over it, and the tall man just falls right into it, but kind of catches himself, and he's like, oh, and he grabs Mike's shoe, and he's like, but Mike breaks free. And then Jody's way up above, and he starts dropping boulders down, and it closes him in. And then Mike's like, all right. And him and his brother reunite, and they're like, all right, yay. You think we stopped him? And Jody's like, I don't know. I don't know if anything will stop that guy, but that should hold him for a while. And they like start walking home, and then Mike wakes up. And this is the part. This is the badass award part that I'm going to announce right now, because the badass goes to Mike, or does it? Because Mike can do all these things. Mike is 15 years old, but he can drive a car. He knows how to work on cars, which isn't that weird in 1979. Especially for a car that was made around that time period when you could actually work on cars without having to gut the whole thing to get to just to change the oil. But he's a good shot. He's this. He knows all that. But he wakes up and it's all a dream. And he wakes up and he goes downstairs and it's Reggie. And Reggie's like, hey, how's it going? How's it going, little buddy? Because Reggie's alive now. And it turns out Jody's died last week in a car wreck. And Mike is like, I had another nightmare. And Reggie's like, what? He's like, yeah, it's the tall man. He's like, the tall man. So the whole time he has these dreams that the tall man's out, because the tall man represents death. The tall man killed his parents, and then the tall man killed his brother, and now the tall man's after him. And that's why every time Jody was going to do something, that's why Mike was following him, because he was trying to save his brother from that death. Even though his brother is already dead, but he has these dreams over and over again. And now Reggie's his guardian, which is kind of scary in its own right. But he's like, Reggie tells us, like, don't worry, there's no tall man. It's me and you now. We should go on a road trip. Maybe we should just get out of here for a while. So Mike's like, all right. So Mike goes upstairs to pack some stuff. And in the mirror, you can see the tall man. And then he gets near the mirror, and these arms reach out and grab him and says, boy! And the movie ends. And it makes you think, like, what? What did I just watch? Kind of makes sense. Kind of completely doesn't make sense. There are 4 sequels, and maybe they'll explain them. I've watched all 4, but I have not watched them lately. Usually a dream is a cop-out in a movie where it's like, I give up. This movie doesn't really feel that way because this whole movie feels very dreamlike. That's why I remember watching the second one. Second one is the same thing. I remember writing, I was taking notes and stuff. I just waited too long afterwards because I have a written review for this one, and I was gonna do one for the second one. And I'd watch it, did the notes, and after a few days, like, this doesn't make any sense. Because these movies, it's not that they don't make sense. They kind of make sense when you're watching them, but then when you look back on them, you're like, they're like Italian horror. They're like watching Lucci, like House by the Cemetery, where it's like there's something about it where they're intriguing. They're fun to watch while you're watching them, but then afterwards, it's like if somebody talks to you about them, you're kind of like, it's like trying to explain a dream to somebody, where it's like, I don't know, it's like the pieces don't go together. They do while you're watching them, but afterwards you're just like, I don't know, and then this happened, and I like this, and I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, to me, I even wrote before, I was like, Phantasm really is kind of the Boba Fett of horror movies, where it's like, I don't know why it's awesome, it just is. And I don't think that's a bad thing to say, because Boba Fett's awesome, Phantasm's awesome, but if you're like, why do you like Boba Fett so much? He didn't do shit. He didn't really catch Han, and then he died. In a very anticlimactic way, so, I know, another Star Wars tie-in. And Phantasm's the same way, where it's like, well, what's so good about Phantasm? And you try and explain it. Well, this happened, and this, but then you try and explain it, it's like, I don't know, it just is. Some stuff is just cool. Some stuff is just neat. You can't explain it. We feel better when we can't explain it, but sometimes you can't. All right. But what did we learn? Survival tips. Don't have sex in a cemetery with a girl you just met. Don't break into morgues. If you see a JAWA at the cemetery, don't go back there, especially at night. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Do whatever you normally do when you like something. If you didn't like it, well, then go fuck yourself. Until next time, goodbye.